All right, so today is a day of conducting business. There's no interesting speakers. There's no videos to show. Notice no big TV this time. This is not our breakfast meeting. This is about conducting business. The business today is to elect new leadership of the Greenwood County Democratic Party. We need to be out of here by 11:30 a.m., so for all candidates and others who are going to speak, I implore you, keep it short, 3 to 4 minutes to let us get to know who you are and what you're about. But we do need to be out at 11:30. If anybody can stay behind to help clean up, please do so. And I could also use maybe 2 cars to transport materials back to storage afterwards. So let's keep that in mind. So the 3 to 4 minute mark also includes myself. So let me kick things off with my final speech as your chair, if I may. Now, I wanted to create like the best speech ever. I've stressed about it all week. I wanted this to be my I have a dream speech. That's just not going to happen. I'm not that gifted of an orator. So I'll keep it brief, and I'll just share with you one major thought that I had. But just to recap what a journey it's been, I joined the Greenwood County Democratic Party in January of 2017, soon after Trump 1.0 took office. And I felt compelled to get off the sideline and do something. And then I became the secretary and created the social medias, the websites, etc. for the party. I became your chair in April of 2020 during the pandemic. I became a chair of a party that couldn't even meet in person. But the Lord has a way of putting the right people into the right place at the right time. Who better suited to bring us to a digital, virtual party during that time of crisis than a guy who lives in the world of digital and social and technology? So I just found myself fortunate to be able to be the chair during that time where we held regular Zoom meetings and did everything extra to being in person. But then we started meeting in person in the summer of 2021, and what an amazing time that was. I remember that was on the lawn of Ken and Robert Headley Downs' house, if you remember that. It was an outdoor festival, and 90 people showed up for food and beverages and everything else, and we had an outdoor lawn meeting. I ran for office twice as your chair. Never had that on my list of things to do, but I did it. We've adopted a highway. We've held and launched the Floyd's Fish Fry. We renamed our annual dinner to the Carnell Drummond Mays Banquet. We've established a permanent headquarters office, year-round, election season or no. We grew our social media presence and have nearly 10,000 followers across all platforms. But this wasn't something that Bill Kimler did alone, not by a long shot. So I thank all the volunteers who helped make all of that happen, and I especially thank my fellow executive committee members that put up with the responsibility of meetings and emails and coordinating and making decisions. None of this was done as a single person. It was always, always, always done as a group effort. So I want to leave with this thought about why I am a Democrat. This is not by happenstance. I did not grow up in a liberal household. I came from actually a very conservative Republican household. I think many of you may have the same story. But I am a Democrat for probably one reason only, and it's because I have faith and trust in America and the American people. If I think of the differences between the platform of the other parties and my personal beliefs, that's the difference that I see is the trust in the people of our great nation. Take, for example, social programs, Social Security, healthcare, Medicare, etc. Other political beliefs see that as giveaways, as entitlements to the lazy. That's how they view it. They view it as wasteful. I've always seen it as investments in the American people. Sometimes investments go bad. Just take a look at Trump's casinos, right? Not every investment pays off, but I have faith and trust in the people that these programs, and many of us have benefited from them, can help us in a difficult situation, and it pays dividends. We give $1 to help, we get back 10 in return. We help somebody with a health crisis. They are then back into the workforce. Many years later, contributing members of society. These are investments. So I believe in health care. I believe in Social Security. I believe in student loan forgiveness. I believe in the things that make us productive members of society that pay dividends. Another example. Other parties espouse small government. We're seeing that live out today with the slashing and burning of our entire government infrastructure. They distrust the tens of thousands of American servants that do everything from crafting policy to making our nation safer, to national parks, right? Giving us a place to go and be in touch with nature. The science investments, the research, the breakthroughs in technology and medical research that have come from these hardworking individuals. Infrastructure improvements to our waters, our dams, our electrical infrastructure. I believe in a government that is stronger than individual people doing everything, looking out for themselves. I believe together we can accomplish things that we can't do individually or through private investments. You know what I don't trust are the private companies, right? The $1 billion that are focused on profits and not the people. It has always been the government that stands in our corner when those in power in private industry try to enact unfair labor laws. You know, remember child labor? That was a thing until the government stepped in. Other parties believe in states' rights as overpowering everything else. And I can see that to an extent, but there's one set of rights that's even greater than state rights, and that's human rights. Human rights need to come first and foremost above everything else. And that's why the government had to step in when states fought for the right to have slavery. When states fought to keep segregation as the law of the land. When states are fighting today to diminish the role of women to be able to make decisions for themselves. These are human rights that the federal government, when populated by people who are hardworking, by people who are qualified, by people who have the people's best interest in hearts, that's what they are there for. So I believe in the people of America. To this day, I will still believe in the power and the people of South Carolina. I believe in the people of Greenwood County, and I believe in the principles of the Democratic Party. That's my speech. God bless you all. Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down. Thank you. My final act as your party chair is to step aside as party chair and entertain a motion of a convention chair or a nomination of a convention chair. The convention chair, the qualifications are this: you must be a registered voter in Greenwood County, and you must not be running for an office that is voted on today. So given those two qualifications, do we have a nomination?
I make a motion that Bill Kimler be the convention chair, serve as the convention chair for this meeting.
There's a motion made to have myself be the convention chair. I meet both criteria as I am not running for an elected office today. Do we have a second to that motion? All right, we have several seconds. We'll note Frank Kazwara as the second. All right, so with that motion, we're going to vote as a party. Remember, only voters in Greenwood County can raise their voice or vote on any motion here today? Do we have a vote? All in favor of having me continue as the convention chair, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, say nay. All right. That was nice and easy. Great. I'm your convention chair. I am back. This is where I consolidate power. All right, the second act that we have to follow is the nomination of a convention secretary, whose job it is just to take some brief notes about who spoke and the results of the votes. So it's a very simple thing, and the same qualifications. That person needs to be a registered voter in Greenwood County and should not be running for any office that is voted on today. Do we have a nomination for anybody to be secretary? We have a nomination for Lane Horowitz to act as the convention secretary. Do we have a second? We have a second from Deb Atkinson. All right. Do we have an acceptance from the nominee? Okay, so I want to make sure that you're willing and you're not being drafted. Yes, that's nice to know. All right, so all in favor of Lane Horowitz to act as convention secretary, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. Just had to make it interesting. All right, the ayes have it, and welcome Lane as our convention secretary. All right, so let me remind you of the rules. We are going to hear from candidates for offices shortly, but before we get to the party candidates, I want to ask, is there any elected official, current elected official or former elected official who wishes to speak at this time and address the convention? All right, hearing none, are there any candidates for statewide office who's in attendance today, who's looking to run for state chair or any of the other executive committee chairs at the state level? All right, hearing none, we will then move to the business of electing our new leadership. So let me review the rules. You have in front of you, everybody should have, and if you don't have it yet, please go back up to the front table and get one, a list of the convention nominees. It says 2025 GWCDP convention nominees. Everybody should have one. And then everybody should also have a writing utensil, a pen or pencil. If you don't have one, obtain one, please. There's a whole bunch, again, back at the entrance table. If you're not able to walk, send somebody to get it for you. All right, so the way we do this is that we start by hearing from the candidates for chair first, and then we elect the chair. Because whoever is chair actually affects the other positions. By South Carolina Democratic Party rules, of which we do our best to abide, whoever is elected the chair, then the first vice chair should be a person of a gender not the same as the chair. The second vice chair should be a person of a race different than that of the chair. The third vice should be a person who has not attained the age of 36 years. And then we have executive committee man, woman, and alternates. So after we elect a chair, and again, only those who are registered voters in Greenwood County are allowed to vote. There are ballots at each table. When the time comes, I will ask you to fill out that ballot by writing in the position, chair, first, vice, etc., and the name of the person you are voting for. You don't have to put your name in. You don't have to identify it in any way. But hold on to that ballot, and we'll have a team of people collect that ballot from you. We will quickly tally it. The secretary and I will quickly tally it at the front table and then announce the results. Then we'll move on to the next position, rinse, wash, and repeat. Even if there is only one name on the position, or if there is one name, we will still ask that candidate to come up and speak and introduce themselves, but we will not be writing ballots in. We'll just do a voice vote if there's only one person for that position.